Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. We're on KLUP 9:30 a.m., KSLR 6:30 a.m. in San Antonio, and KNTH 1070 a.m. and 103.3 FM in Houston, Texas. Also on Facebook Live, YouTube, and podcasts everywhere. Today we're going to be talking about what happens to your house when a loved one passes away with Stetson Honey, attorney with Marquardt Law Firm. Can you sell it? What if the title is a mess? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But first, let's check in for the financial focus with Joseph Warren. Joseph is a co-owner with his brother and father. They own Financial Planning HQ. They're true financial planners. They don't sell investments or insurance. Joseph, tell us, what do you have in store for us today for the financial focus?
I wanted to talk about a shocking stat, which I'm sure some of your listeners have heard before, that 70% of wealth is lost by the second generation, and by the third generation, 90% of accumulated family wealth is usually squandered.
That's awful. How can wealth be lost?
I think it's part of, there's a famous book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There.
I've read that.
And, one person works really hard. They claw their way up, to building this generational wealth through grit, perseverance, entrepreneurship. But once they do that, it sort of creates this system where, the default way of being is short-term thinking, and their family inherits it, and they didn't have that struggle, so they're more likely to spend it. And by the time you get to the third generation, you almost have this sense of like, this is how we live. We have wealth. And by the third generation, I think 90% of it is lost by default just because of our human nature. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so how do you help your clients not do that?
Yeah. Well, we look at the mistakes that lead to that. And a big way, if I could just sum it up in a sentence, is you have to start thinking of your family like an enterprise, like a business. I remember talking to you a while back, and you said you had a mission statement for the Marquardt family, right?
That's right. I read about that in Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People.
Yep. So you want to have that mission statement just like a business does. That's rare that you see that for a family, but it really is how a family that's building wealth and wants to keep that wealth should operate. They should be clear on what their mission statement is, what their core values are, and it should all be in a written document that they share with the family. We call that the family constitution. And the first step in our process, we call it the financial roadmap. We really drill deep on some of these things. What are your core values around money? What purpose do you want to serve? What impact do you want to have with your wealth? And usually it's not just, I want my grandkids to be ballin', as the kids say. I don't know if the kids still say that. It's usually like, we want to give some of it away. These are causes that are important to us. We want our kids to have character, because character is something that's built, right?
Right.
I remember when I got my first car, my dad very graciously and generously gave me an old Lexus when I was going off to college, and I didn't work for it, and I didn't treat that car well. I kind of a little bit ashamed to say I used to smoke cigarettes back then. I would smoke in the car. I would just treat it badly. I would drive it rough. But when I, matured a little bit, brought my own car, saved up money to get my own car, at that point in time, I did treat my car a lot better. So there's something to be said for when you earn something, you steward it. So kind of teaching that stewardship over just, spending the money and enjoying it. And that comes down to, teaching your kids. I think a great model for that is like the Rockefeller family. Mm-hmm. They really had a system in place. So first of all, they had a family office style system where everything was coordinated. Their tax planning, investments, legal, insurance, everything is coordinated and working on the same page.
Sounds like the Warren family.
That's exactly how we work. And it was very innovative at the time, because that was the 1800s when he set up that type of setup where they had their own capital management company. Mm-hmm. We believe in perfect coordination of all experts. It comes down to communication as well. Sometimes I'll see people who've built a lot of wealth, and they don't want to tell their family. Maybe because of fear that they're going to become like the family piggy bank, or they're going to be asked for loans, or their family might get greedy. But when you do that, your family's not going to be prepared to inherit the money.
What does the Bible say about financial stewardship?
I've been love that I've been putting Bible verses in here. I've been enjoying, thinking which one it kind of just naturally fits. But Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever is faithful with very little will also be faithful with much."
Amen.
Yeah.
Briefly talk about the legal planning to protect intergenerational wealth. What can families do to make sure their wealth is preserved?
Yeah. This is your forte, Todd. This is your firm. But one thing, working with you, we've seen is, protecting against things that can happen down the line, like divorce, creditors. So you set up this legal structure so no matter what happens, the money's not going to be lost to divorce and these things that might happen in the future. I remember you talking about this trust that said you had to have a prenup or you wouldn't inherit the family wealth.
Yeah.
And that's meant to protect the family and make sure that the wealth stays in the family and
Right.
isn't lost to things that happen.
The replacement spouse.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't want some other dude spending my money.
Yep. You want to plan for that, and the legal planning is a huge part of it as well. So setting up those trusts and protecting everything.
And it's not just divorce. There's business setbacks. There's economic downturns. There's frivolous lawsuits that an inherited trust can protect the inheritance.
Yep. There's so many things that can happen, but you want to plan for those while you can. So it's not just kind of like thinking about what got you here won't get you there. It's not just building the wealth and all that. You have to think about how we're going to keep it, how we're going to pass it on to the next generation. Yeah.
If somebody wants to talk to you about how to do this, how to come up with values around money, what should they do?
Give me a call. So the first step in our process, completely complimentary, no strings attached, is to sit down and complete something, really an experience called the Financial Roadmap. And we really drill deep on those core values, what your exact goals are, and exactly where you are now financially. And that can be used as a prototype of your family constitution. So that could be something where you say, this is our mission statement. You can really work off of that and say, these are our core values, and this is what we want to happen with have happen with our wealth. And if you want to schedule that, just 210-444-2128. We will be, the first 3 people who call will be doing complimentary meetings with you. So give me a call today, 210-444-2128.
Joseph Warren and I are talking about legal planning to protect intergenerational wealth and what families can do to make sure their wealth is preserved. Joseph, what's another big thing for the 10% who preserve their wealth?
They have everybody at the table, so they'll have meetings about their money. And me and my wife do this as well. We call it a mastermind. We'll meet once a week, and sometimes they're working meetings, and we're like, we got to get this done. But other times we're saying these are the big financial decisions and big decisions we have to make as a family. So including people so they know the culture as well once you have that family constitution. The Constitution, just like our country, we have the rules for how things are settled. We have the amendments, the Bill of Rights. You want to have those rules written down and operate based on them. And just having those meetings, I remember the first time we had a meeting where we had grandma and grandpa there. We had the in-laws, we had their kids, and then we had their grandkids at the table. It was powerful because it really made it clear, like, these financial decisions they're making. The tactical part is cool, the strategy is cool, but what's really cool is kind of seeing how it can impact multiple generations.
Right.
And
And
how
this was a client that you had.
Yes, and we had them all there sitting at the table. But it can't just be a one-time thing. It should be an ongoing thing. Maybe not weekly, but quarterly, just like a business, having meetings and saying, this is where we are now when it comes to our wealth, and really thinking about it like a business. Yeah.
So if families don't want to lose their generational wealth by the 3rd generation, what should they do?
Call me right now, 210-444-2128. It's no strings attached, complimentary meeting, and it will be valuable for you, whether we work together or not, and could be that first step towards making a family constitution.
Thank you for the financial focus.
Thank you very much, Todd.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.